Mamulya, your host for today. So our chief guest G. Srinivas Rao Garu is held in an important meeting in the CM's office. He asked us to start the program. So let's begin our evening. So I'm pleased to welcome you all on behalf of Arrow Publications Private Limited to this momentous occasion to release Dr. Hyma Moorty's book entitled The Pandemic Panorama. I thank you all for consenting to our request and making time to attend this event. So before we start this program, I request you all to keep your phones on silent mode. Taking our evening forward, on behalf of everyone present here, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our dignitaries, Sri M.V. Krishna Rao Garu, Sri Ramu Sarma Garu, Sri C.V. Subbarao Garu, our author Dr. Hyma Moorty Garu, Dr. Mohandas Garu, and Mr. Krishna Moorty Garu for lighting of the lamp. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. So, though our dignitaries do not require any introduction and are well known across public spectrum, pan-India, I am privileged to introduce them all. Firstly, it's a great pleasure for me to welcome M.V. Krishna Rao Garu. M.V. Krishna Rao is a 1974 batch IPS officer belonging to AP cadre. He worked as a Commissioner of Police, Visakhapatnam, from 1991 to 1993 and Hyderabad in 2002 and 2003. He also worked as Director of AP Police Academy, APPA of United AP from 1993 to 1998, Managing Director of APS RTC from 2004 to 2006, and retired in 2010 as Director General of SSB, which guards the Indo-Nepal and Indo-Bhutan border. He has had an illustrious career of 37 years in the Indian Police Service. Since then, he has been teaching internal security at several training and coaching institutes all over India. Now, I request Mr. P. Srinivas Rao, Director, Arrow Publications Private Limited, to present him a bouquet. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our guest of honor, Sri Ramu Sarma. Safe and soft-spoken, Ramu Sarma is a journalist with over 4 decades of experience. Starting his career in New Delhi, he has worked with various reputed dailies, both English and vernacular. He started his career with the Janmabhoomi Group of Mumbai, based at Delhi, and then worked with English papers like The Hindu and The Times of India in various capacities. His passion to take challenges in life made him switch over to the Hunt's India English newspaper when it was launched in Hyderabad in 2011 as its political editor. He has shown his grit in exclusive coverage during the agitation for separate Telangana. He, along with his team, had given the best of the coverage. After taking over as the editor of Hunt's India, he had shown his versatility in bringing several changes which has helped the paper to make a mark of its own in the market as a major English paper. Now, I request Mr. G. Subba Rao, Director, Arrow Publications Private Limited, to present our guest of honor a bouquet. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our special invitee, Mr. C.V. Subba Rao Garu. Mr. C.V. Subba Rao completed his MBA from Andhra University in 1978 and joined the Administrative Staff College of India as a management consultant. With his passion towards journalism, he has worked with several leading publishing houses like Enadu, Udayam, and the Indian Express in various capacities. Currently, he is the editor and managing director of Telugu Times, a global newspaper started in 2003, printed in San Francisco and distributed across United States. Apart from Telugu Times, to inculcate Telugu language to the NRI Telugu children, he started Patasala Telugu Books with the support of Government of Andhra Pradesh. Also, he has coordinated various US programs with chief ministers of Andhra Pradesh and organized several religious events like the Tirupati Srinivasa Kalyanams, Annavaram Satyanarayana Swami Kalyanams, and Bhadrachalam Sita Rama Kalyanams across United States. Currently, he is the advisor of Temples NRI Wing, Endowments Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Now, I request Mr. C.H. Suresh, Director, Arrow Publications Private Limited, to present a special invitee a bouquet. Also, I request Mr. N. Ravindra, Regional Manager, Marketing, Arrow Publications Private Limited, to present the bouquet to our author, Dr. Hyma Moorty. Also, Mr. D.P.K. Babu, Director, Ashray Akruti, will present a bouquet to Hyma ma'am. Now, I request Mr. C.V.B. Krishna, Managing Director, Arrow Publications Private Limited, to give the welcome address.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all the distinguished guests. Sri M.V. Krishna Rao Garu, IPS retired, Director General, Seema Shikshabal, Sri Ramu Sharma Garu, Chief Editor, Hans India, Hyderabad, Sri C.V. Subbarao Garu, Advisor, Temples NIRA Wing, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada, and our other Dr. Hyma Moorty Garu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to welcome a warm welcome to all of you. I am C.V.V. Krishna, Managing Director, Arrow Publications Private Limited, Hyderabad. Arrow Publications Private Limited is one of the leading publishers of school textbooks that has set a trend in the market with its learner-friendly books in all subjects since its inception in 2000. It is indeed a matter to pride for Team Arrow to be here today for the release of the book, The Pandemic Panorama, penned by Dr. Hyma Moorty. In this regard, I would like to express my appreciation for Dr. Hyma Moorty for writing this book. Hearty congratulations, Dr. Hyma ma'am. We are indeed happy to have contributed to the publication of this book. Dr. Hyma Moorty and Arrow Publications have shared a beautiful relationship for many years. In fact, my association with Dr. Hyma Moorty began right from the time my daughter Amulya, who was her student in Geetanjali school. Many years later, when I, along with my team, was making humble beginning in the publishing industry, we came into contact with Dr. Hyma Moorty. Again, we have shared a special bond since then. During the making of our life skills Think Beyond, Dr. Hyma Moorty played a very important role by helping us in editing the books and also giving her valuable suggestions. We are indeed fortunate to have her support, and we hope to have an everlasting association with her. I express my gratitude on behalf of Arrow team for having been given this opportunity to contribute to the publication of this book, The Pandemic Panorama. We hope the book wins laurels and applause everywhere. We wish you all the best, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, let's move ahead to the most awaiting moment of this evening. I request Mr. M.V. Krishna Garu to launch our author's book, The Pandemic Panorama. Thank you. So, before our author, Dr. Hyma Moorty, provides us the genesis of the book, I want to say a few words to you. So, my association with her goes back to my school days when I was a student and she was my teacher. I still fondly remember her Shakespeare's Julius Caesar sessions. And also, one of the many memories I have with her, she shared an incident with us when she handled dacoits in a moving bus. She's a very brave woman. So, during my school days, I never imagined that I would have the honor to be part of her book release event. So it's a very nice opportunity for me. Thank you, ma'am. So I request you to speak about the book, ma'am.
Our Chief Guest Dr. G. Srinivasa Rao Garu is not here, but I start with Sri M.V. Krishna Rao Garu, Sri Ramu Sharma Garu, Sri C.V. Subbarao Garu, Sri C.V.B. Krishna Garu, and the esteemed audience. Good evening to one and all. I have my great friends here, my colleagues. Everybody is here. I'm so happy to receive you all. Thank you so much for coming for the book release. Now, Mark Twain once suggested 3 tips for an effective speech. He said, be good, be brief, and be seated. And then I was wondering how it is possible to be seated and give a speech and hear your own speech. Then I recollected Albert Einstein's snippet. Albert Einstein, once he won the Nobel Prize for his theory of relativity, he was invited to all places. He was traveling far and wide to many universities, to many seminars, everywhere. And I think he has spent 2 months almost traveling and traveling. So one day while traveling to attend a university meeting, he told his driver, I'm really fed up of this moving and speaking the same thing for the last so many days. I just feel like sitting in the audience and listen to my own speech. Then the driver said, don't think it is impossible. It is possible. He said, how? He says, I've been traveling with you for the last so many days and I have by hearted your speech. Now you be in the audience, I will deliver the lecture. So finally they made the agreement, and then our great scientist was in the audience and our duplicate was on the stage, and he successfully delivered the speech. And afterwards, of course, you all know, whenever there are sessions, there will be questioning from the professors. So one of the well-known professor, he gets up and he asks a question. And our driver said, oh, it's such a simple question. My driver in the audience will answer your question. And that, I was reminded of this snippet, and I said, it's best that I don't try those things to be on the safe side. So I thought, okay, let me deliver something. So that is what it is. And anyway, coming to my genesis of the book, it's nothing special or anything. We all know we were going through a bad phase of pandemic. It was in the month of March, and I am as such a restless person. My colleagues know, my Mrs. Sukumara knows more than anybody else. I am a restless person, and I was totally restless. I didn't know what to do. So I started calling people. I said, let me find out what people are doing. So I called a few people, little elderly. I don't call them old because I am also counted as old, so I don't call them old. They're elderly people and youngsters also, because this is all work from home culture at that time. And I came to know that the impact of the pandemic was more on the women at that time, because there was no help from anywhere, no outside help, and ladies who are working in IT sectors and other places, they have work from home. They open their shop at 8 o'clock and close it at 8 o'clock in the house. And added to that, you all know, most of the ladies will know, it is the husband and the children at home. Okay, so their job is doubled up. So some of the ladies told me, youngsters, that it's becoming very difficult. So when I heard all those things, I thought, why not I put these thoughts into writing. So the first article that I wrote, because I never thought I'll write something. I can teach, I can do anything, but not writing, and never thought of it also. But then I thought, okay, let me put them into words. And then when to put them into words, suddenly in the middle of the night, one day I got up at 12 o'clock. I said, let me write something. I have decided, and I patted myself, yes, you can do, go ahead. So I sat and completed this, the Superwoman, the first article that I wrote by 4:30, and I posted in all platforms that are available to me, Facebook, media, WhatsApp, and all messages, mail and all, and I posted. Then of course, you always wait for rewards and appreciation and everything. So I was eagerly waiting, not sleeping, how many likes I get for that, how many people will give nice comments. So I got comments, and then some of them told me that why you wrote about youngsters, you think yourself as a youngster? I said, no, I don't think myself as a youngster, so let me write for elderly people also. Then my second article after 3-4 days was the senior citizens. Because that time, if you all remember, the scared lot was the senior citizens, because people were telling, don't go out, if you go out you will die. This is the only thing that was being told. So anyway, I wrote an article about senior citizens, and then slowly I thought, anything there? Nothing. Okay. So slowly I thought I will put my words into thoughts, and I thought I'll make it as a hobby to write. But then that hobby became a habit for me later. After every 3 days there was always itching, so I thought I should write something. So I continued writing. I started going to the past, coming to the present, relating the past, present, and everything I started writing. Some of the articles were written based on the activities of that particular day. Like I written Arjun, the Sabyasachi. Okay, and that was because it was the Prime Minister dedicated MBT Arjun tank to the nation. And I know what I went through when Arjun tank was in the process of making. My husband was totally involved in that, and I was all alone with my 2 kids in Dehradun managing so many things. So the incidents that I wrote in all the articles are close to my heart, and they happened with me. So this is, but when I'm writing or when I'm talking about my articles, I think it's very important for me to tell about the work, the pandemic work I have done, because they run parallel to each other. First, after writing 1 or 2 articles, I felt that there are so many people who are in need of our help. So somebody has to take the lead. So I'm not the person to look back to see somebody is following me or not. I go ahead. If I fall, I'll fall. Otherwise, no. I'll go ahead. So I just thought, why not I start collecting something to help these migrant labor, unorganized sector people. So first I thought I'll start with the residents of my building, Meghamala, where I stay. So I sent a message, WhatsApp message, and I spoke to some of them. But they were all good, they all contributed whatever is at home, the dry ration that is to be given. So they all contributed, and I never expected that it's going to be so much. I think the ration that was contributed by them came to at least 60 migrant labor we could supply. Then, thank you. But then I have to tell you, it was a serious lockdown time, and this material has to reach the right person. So I came across, because I have a big network, I maintain a network. I know somebody who is doing this no food waste director. He hasn't come today, Mr. Venkat Murli. So he has the permission from the government to take the vehicle, go to these places. So I called him up, he came, he collected, and he has taken all these things. So slowly, then I approached my students, I approached my friends, I approached my cousins, my relatives, and of course I have a bank at home. Whenever I'm short of money, I used to take from my husband. So all those things we started supplying to everybody, and I think we have helped at least 5,000 people in this pandemic. Thank you. And this started from April 3rd, 2020 to August 30, 2021, my writing of the articles, and slowly along with this. Still I'm continuing with social work, because we are taking care of cancer patients, pediatric cancer patients in some of the hospitals. Still I'm continuing. Then some of the articles that are connected to the past, I would like to mention, I have already mentioned about the lone survivor. It's about a flower I wrote, but then I think you all should read it. It is related, I related it to the soldiers, and then how a flower wishes. That is what I have written about it. And then now next, then after writing these articles and all, I told you I'm a restless person. Then I approached Mr. Krishna. He was kind enough to compile all these things, and he said, Madam, we'll go ahead with the book. And he went ahead with the book, and today the articles are seeing the light of the day. I am so thankful to him, and I am grateful to him also. And I must thank Venkatesh, whom we fondly call Venki. Where are you, Venkatesh? Come. Get up. Come. He is the one actually for the cover page, for the pictures that are there in the book, for compiling and everything. Of course, I went and sat with him. I used to be a little annoyed also, sorry for anything, Venki. So anyway, he was the one behind all these things. And then the third person I should thank is for what I am today. If I'm standing here and able to talk to you all, it is thanks to my husband. He encouraged me for everything that I've been doing. And sometimes I come out with crazy ideas, but he always says, okay, go ahead. But then of course later he says, don't go ahead. That is a different thing. But anyway, so he was always, because when I got married, I was only a science graduate. If I'm a doctorate today, it is all because of him. Because today I want to tell that he always says that I don't give credit to him for anything. Today, in front of everybody, I'm giving, come. I'm giving credit to him for everything. Because recently, Mr. Ramu Sharma must be knowing, I wrote an article in the newspaper Hans India about social responsibility, the need of the hour. In that I mentioned that why should always be a woman behind a man? Here is this example that there is a man behind a woman for success. And I would like to tell you all that the sale proceeds of the book go to an NGO which is very close to my heart, Ashray Akriti, an NGO for hearing impaired, and the NGO is very close to my heart. So I just wanted to announce that all the sale proceeds will go to that NGO only. Now, there are certain things that I learned from the pandemic. Most of us might have learned, because life is uncertain. Rich, poor, whichever religion you are, we were at the mercy of God. And this is what I learned was that don't look for anybody, whether anybody is doing something or not. Whatever you want to do, go ahead, because there is a lot of scarcity and misery in the world. You all have to come forward. If you put one step forward, there will be 20 steps following you. This is what I have learned from the pandemic, and try and spread as far as possible. You may not give anything, money need not be, but smiles and happiness is what is required, at least as long as we are going through this pandemic. And I think every one of us should accept that social responsibility of helping people. More than that, we follow our own nature. Don't look at anybody, whether somebody is doing or not. What is your nature, what is given by nature to you as nature has to be followed. For this, I just want to tell you a small story. We all have sadhus and sannyasis sitting at the bank of a river and doing puja and meditation and all those things. So we have a series of sadhus sitting and near the pond, and then one of the sadhus, while doing meditation, he opens his eyes and sees then there is a scorpion in the water that is struggling to come out. So the sadhu, he goes and helps the scorpion, takes it out, puts it on the bank of the river. While he was putting it on the bank of the river, it stings him. Okay, then of course he says, okay, fine. And again, when he was in meditation, he opens his eyes. Again, the scorpion is in the water. He again goes and takes. And like this, it happens 4 or 5 times. And then one of the sadhus who was meditating, and he opens his eyes and he says, are you not ashamed, or don't you have any sense to help this scorpion so many times? It is stinging you so many times. He says, stinging is its nature, saving is my nature. So let us follow our natures. Let us do. And then keep smiling, keep helping, keep working. And then remember one thing, age is only just a number. So keep working. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you so much.
That was really good, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I request Sri M.V. Krishna Rao Garu to address the audience.
Sabhaka Namaskaram. I'll be speaking in a combination of Telugu and English, primarily because I'm much better in Telugu than in English. I'm a professional speaker. Yeah, these probably, I must have given about 1 million speeches by now. First of all, I'm impressed with, this is the first time I'm listening to Hyma in a public forum. I knew her only as the younger sister of a dear batchmate and roommate of mine, late K.S. Vyas. We joined the Indian Police Service on the same day. Unfortunately, he was killed on the 27th of January 1993 when he was in the peak of his career. So from the day I joined, we were together and we were both Telugu people, that too from Hyderabad. So his house was in Barkatpura, and we have Dr. Krishna Sagar here, his neighbor in the opposite side. Krishna Sagar and I were contemporaries in Warangal from 1962 to 66. He studied engineering in Regional Engineering College, and thanks to Hyma, I am able to see after a long gap my classmate Komaraj Setu Madhavrao. We were in the same class, same bench, competing with each other for rank number 1, and that was St. Gabriel's High School, Kazipet, near Warangal. So I'm quite impressed with her abilities to reduce her thoughts into writing. She did mention about the circumstances under which she took to this writing, initially as a blog or as comments in a Facebook or maybe something else, not Twitter. Twitter doesn't allow so many words, but otherwise something like that social media type. And that ultimately, thanks to the publishers, I can't say temerity or audacity or guts, but benevolence, it has now come in the shape of a book, 80-page book. And I'm sure most of you would not have had access to the book. Since I was required to speak about the book even before it is released, I got a copy. So that is the privilege of having to speak on a book before it is released. So this is the book, 80 pages, and it is very conveniently classified into 2 categories. In fact, I must also mention that there are 3 forewords for this book, written in excellent language, very, very, I would say, impressive. 3 different, probably all of them are fellow teachers of yours or something. Very rarely do you come across a book with 3 forewords, and all very well written. And of course, her own version is also there. These 22 articles are broadly categorized into 2: during the lockdown period and post-lockdown, that is called unlockdown. So, and I don't know whether she herself gave these titles or there was some kind of an editorial assistance, but excellently titled. First of all, when you read them, you will realize that though the ambience at the time she wrote was extremely tragic, it's the worst of times. After the Spanish flu 100 years ago, this was the worst the world ever saw. And many of us lost our friends, classmates, relatives, well-known people, not so well-known. But during that time also, when she could transfer her thoughts into words, there is a streak of humor. It's not completely serious, nor is it extremely depressing. The topic is interesting, stimulating. The ambience, the times during which it was written, of course, is somewhat tragic and depressing. So I was quite surprised. The superwoman and senior citizens, anyway, that is, I being one of the oldest, probably the oldest in this room. So I have been advised, I continue to be advised by everybody known to me as to how many different allams and jeelakarra and all that I should eat to acquire immunity, and how I should walk, take 10,000 steps every day, and things like that. But in addition to that, I like this Ramayana revisited. As you know, out of boredom, many people, when the government of India took a decision to re-telecast the original Ramayana, which was produced by Ramanand Sagar, a very great producer of films generally, but this particular one really was so impressive. I still remember that young Sita, who later became an MLA or MP, I don't remember, from Gujarat, very slim and all that. So, and the Rama also always bare-chested with a nice V-shaped body, no paunch. So that was re-telecast. So there is a nice piece on that. And of course, there is another somewhat depressing one, but about an engineering graduate delivering provisions, or what do you call them, groceries to her. Of course, at that time she didn't know he was an engineering graduate. But during such times, nobody bothers about what you are or what you were, what are your education qualifications. So you have many jobs wiped off. So the only jobs that are available are this Swiggy kind of what is called the gig economy. I want something to be delivered. Thank God Amazon continued to work at that time. That is the time I learned how to book anything on Amazon. Frazo did not exist in the initial part, but Swiggy, Zomato, they all existed, and guys like me became tech savvy. So the delivery person, when it is delivered, we don't question him as to what is his educational qualifications. We take, and I don't normally tip anybody. But she, I don't know, gave 2 500 rupee notes to that delivery boy. He was a young boy, maybe still studying engineering or something. So he, like a fool, did not spend that 500 to 1,000 rupees, 2 500 notes. And in the post-pandemic era, maybe in end of 2002-1, he called up and said, I still every day look at it as a motivation. So it is at that time that accidentally he reveals the fact that he was an engineering graduate. Of course, our Hyma got extremely shocked by this revelation, and she felt very sorry, and she says, her husband will vouch for it, that she had to collapse in a sofa. Whether she did collapse or not. You watched. Coming as she does from a very, very brave family, every member of, she has a younger sister, Dr. Jyoti, in California, very brave. So her own elder brother, Vyas, is a very brave person. He's the bravest policeman I ever saw. So she has those genetic build-up. So she was about to collapse, but she didn't. Anyway, another nice article, or another piece, is about her father, Narasimham Garu, whom I knew rather intimately. He was a headmaster of a government school or college, a government school, or a very brilliant academician. So reading or rereading about him, and that too in this bundle, is something she wrote it on a Father's Day. Of course, when we were born, there were no Father's Days, nor were there any Husband's Days. Do we have any Husband's Days nowadays? We have, I think, Women's Day or something like that. But husbands are yet to get a day for themselves. Be that as it may, I was very, very happy to read about the great late Narasimham Garu. Her mother is a writer. Her mother, Kamala Devi Garu, is a writer. So, but I don't know whether Narasimha wrote anything. Acha, I see. Acha, Indian citizenship, maybe on the constitutional video or something like that. Or be that as it may, this ability to teach, she must have imbibed basically from her father. He was a brilliant teacher, and so now I realize what a great teacher she must have been. I was never a student, having been born a good 15 years before her, but she must have, that's why this tall lady got impressed. And normally we all get impressed by our teachers because we are young and impressionable, but fortunately we outgrow them. So then we no longer, having seen many others, we no longer have that kind of an iconic image. Oh, my teacher so and so did. Oh, he was so brilliant. There are more brilliant people in this world, but they have their own little places in this world of ours. So having said that, I have, I think, exceeded much more than the time allotted to me. This started half an hour late. Come what may, it should have ended, or it should end at 8:30. It's 7:30, so I must give an opportunity for all the remaining people to share their views. Thank you for a very patient listening. And I wish Dr. Hyma Garu, I am not a doctor, I don't have a PhD, I'm a very ordinary guy. But Dr. Hyma Garu, thanks to the cooperation from her husband, she did become a PhD. So I hope many more such pieces would flow out of your pen or your word processor. Did you write this pen and paper, or did you type it on a word processor?
To be honest, I used to sit and do it on the mobile.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, anyway, she got used to handling these devices, and therefore she is fit to maybe produce some more like this. May God bless her with many more creative works, and God bless you all for a patient waiting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now I request V. Ramu Sarma Garu to please talk.
Dignitaries on the dais and dignitaries sitting on the other side of the dais, very good evening to you. At the outset, I will say, please buy this book and read it. Why I'm asking you to buy this book is, as she said, the proceedings will go for a very good cause. And more than that, these days, the habit of reading books has gone down. But since all of us who are senior citizens or elderly people who, as she said, are sitting here, I think it's time we revive the concept of educating our grandchildren by narrating different kind of stories. Earlier, when I was a small kid and all of us were that age probably, our grandmothers or mothers used to narrate stories at bedtime. Now that habit is no more. Our children don't have time to tell stories, to narrate stories to their children. Everyone is busy on their computers, IT sector, this, that. And from morning till evening they are sitting behind the computers getting spondylitis and all kinds of diseases. So it is time we revive this habit of narrating stories, because the children, the present day children, they are lacking behind in sort of, they're getting all kinds of information on mobile. My granddaughter is much faster in handling the mobile than me. She even do all kinds of editing on of the pictures and all those things which I don't know. So, but if you ask them to narrate some story, to give some kind of some examples or something like that from Ramayana or Mahabharata or something, sorry, they don't know anything. They'll talk about Jack and Jill. They'll talk about anything. They'll talk about the comedy, the videos that are coming on the YouTube, videos of say some American programs. They start speaking in American accent, but they don't learn Telugu. I've seen many people who say, "Ma pillalki Telugu radandi," as if it's a great thing, great achievement. See, even I was born and brought up in Delhi. I studied in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, which is an English medium school. All my friends were Gujaratis. I didn't know how to read or write Telugu at that time because I never had a subject. One day my father was a writer, so my mother asked me, "Niki pustakam chadavadam vacha?" I said, "Radu." She said, "Siggu leda?" I said, "What can I do? Nobody has taught me." She said, "Kurcho nenu nerpista." And she taught me alphabets, that's all. After that I picked up on my own. Today I can point out mistakes in Telugu. I may commit lots of mistakes while writing, that's a different thing. But I can point out mistakes in Telugu. So that is how we have got to teach our youngsters, the children. And more so, the responsibility now is more on the grandmothers and grandfathers. Because as I said, the parents have no time. Now coming to this book, it was really interesting because like Krishna Garu said, I also had an opportunity to go through this before the release. As he, in fact, I wanted to quote that story which he has already quoted about the engineer. It's fantastic. The way people had to survive, the people had to struggle. And since we also, by running the newspaper, we also saw what kind of problems people were facing. And even in our own organization, we had lots of people facing these problems. So we had to work out so many logistics and see that the paper survives, the people survive. In many organizations, people were sacked. Fortunately, we did not do that kind of a thing. Similarly, there is another story in this. Again, he mentioned about it. I wanted to see it. That was about the alternative medicine. It was very, very interesting. As he said, many people have been telling me also that you take these capsules of neem, capsules of turmeric, it will boost your immunity. I did try also. To be very frank, I did. So all these things were there. It's a very interesting kind of stories, small stories. If we can narrate such stories to the youngsters, it will bring a phenomenal change in their thinking, which is not there these days. We have to bring it back. We have to bring that line of thinking back and see that the society prospers. That is why I said all of us should buy this book, read, because for two reasons. One, the stories are simple, in very simple language, which even a small child can understand. And they're very interesting, very interesting. It's not a big 500-page novel where you go on reading, and somewhere you forget what you read earlier. It's not like that. So I wish her all the best, and my association with her is very recent. One day she suddenly walked into my office. She said, "I'm so and so, and I have a passion for writing. I'm writing certain articles and all these things. Is there anything I can do for your paper?" I said, "Most welcome. You can write something for the youngsters. We have a page called Young Huns." I said, "You can always write for us, something that will help the students, something that is of, what shall I say, some kind of, since he was a teacher, I thought it was better if she writes something on education, right from standard 10 upwards, right up to IAS, IPS and all those things, competitive exams." She has been writing. And to my surprise, 2 or 3 days before the Republic Day, she sent some articles. That was about her brother. Interestingly, at the same time, I got another author who wrote something about agriculture. So we brought out on the edit page saying, "Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan." So that is how my association started with her. She has been writing for us. It's in simple language, and it's very interesting. So I once again recommend all of you buy this book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request C.V. Subbarao Garu to please say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. Guests on the dais, M.V. Krishna Rao Garu, Ram Sharma Garu, Aero Publications, MD, Balakrishna Garu, and host today, Amulya, and all the guests. A warm welcome, good evening to all of you. There are a lot of surprises actually. When Mr. Krishna asked me to come to this function, and he said the pandemic panorama, I thought it's going to be, because myself I'm an editor of a Telugu newspaper, Telugu Times, which is a publisher from San Francisco last 19 years. So in the last 2 years, even though I was going through the pandemic, like every one of you, I was also going through a lot of reading, a lot of articles and all those things. They are very scientific, very tough to understand. Forget reading. This is also that kind of a book, I thought. When I saw the book, yes, like I was also given the book in advance. When I saw the book, then there are interesting readings. Then I realized, yes, there's something different. When I came, we were discussing, when I was taking the coffee, should we wear the mask because it's a pandemic panorama book release. So yes, we should wear the mask. Then when Dr. Srinivas Rao is not coming, then I thought we need not wear it. So all surprises. When I saw a white paper pasted on this side, other photo the side, maybe the chief guest photo is not coming, though pasted it. Oh, the arrow is really smart, I thought. When I realized it's a book, book is right. Friends, Corona really taught a different way of life. Actually, the new normal word itself is a new invention. We realize that this is not normal, but we accepted it as normal life. This is the normal. When the lot of writings happened, mostly on the disease and the medicines, the lots of articles came about the disease, how it came, how it will come, how it will go, all those things, and various kind of medicines. Then there are articles, books about the government functioning, how they take the decisions, or whatever the infrastructure, whether we have sufficient beds, or we have sufficient oxygen supplies. Those kind of articles are there. Then we have about NGOs, how they are working. Then we have warriors, COVID warriors, how people really come out from their houses and help other people, all kind of thing. Then we also have seen the books or articles on business, economics, how the business was shut down, how everything. But there are very few writings about some of the incidences, some of the articles. Now I come to Dr. Hyma Garu's book. Definitely it's a wonderful book because she narrated small incidents happened during the pandemic time. In fact, see what an other is not an inventor. Other writes. She writes. We know all those things. We experienced it. We saw it. We heard it. But now we are reading it because it happened. All those things she listed out and put it as a nice, interesting reading. See, these kind of books will motivate people, will motivate. It's not that we do not know. Yes, we know what happened in the lockdown period, we know what happened post-lockdown period. But everywhere, when we read the article given by her, now we narrate our own experiences, our own feelings, our own thoughts, then it gives some kind of a feeling, some kind of a thought process. Yes, this all happened. This is all the experience. We all went through that experience, and she nicely narrated them and put them in an 80-page book. In fact, some of them, like senior citizens, positivity, humanity, those are all wonderful, interesting articles. And you know that it's not fiction. It's not a writing by a doctorate. It's written about her own experience. It is our own experience. We have seen it. Then unlock e-learning, wonderful. Then a nightmare. Yes, everyone. Even for example, I was really not very worried those days, even though everybody was saying I was going around, kind of thing. I thought, okay, if I get positive, 50% chance of getting positive, then I will not get. But now we are reading, yes, this all happened. This all, the experience. We all went through that experience, and she nicely narrated them and put them in an 80-page book. In fact, some of them, like senior citizens, COVID positive, maybe I have to quarantine for 14 days, that kind of thing. When I tested positive, myself, Mr. Krishna, we both went together, we both tested positive that day. We thought, okay, it's no problem. Immediately in the next 2 hours, we designed our home, a quarantine room. I put everything, my laptop, my music system, everything, disposable plates, disposable glasses. I have a nephew who is a doctor. I told him casually, yes, I also got positive. I started my quarantine. He said, Mama, you have an oximeter? Yes. It's good. I'm testing 96. Why don't you walk in the same room for 6 minutes and see? I did it. Then it fell into 89. Then let us see one more time tomorrow morning. Then next day morning also I walked in the room. It came to 87. Then he said, Mama, you are not supposed to take quarantine at home. You better get admitted. That's then started the nightmare. That's the nightmare. So it all happened to every one of us. Every one of us. And nicely, when we read this, we remember our own experiences, our own feelings. The preventive medicine, yes. When both the people, they had spoken about it. Then whether vaccination, are we vaccinated or not? That's again a debate. That's a wonderfully written. Wonderfully written. And masked or unmasked, that's also another very interesting. Everything is very, very interesting. Small articles, 3-page, 2-page articles. Read it nicely. You can happily read this book. Wonderfully written. I really appreciate Dr. Hyma Moorty garu for putting her thoughts into a nice reading. A nice reading for a common people. Everybody can read it. And wonderful. Thank you so much. And I congratulate Arrow Publications for publishing this book and also giving me an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words. Do anyone from the audience would like to say some few words about Hyma ma'am or the book? Ma'am. Ma'am, please come. Yeah.
We still have 45 minutes.
Take off your mask. You can't
Very good evening, and I would like to first congratulate Dr. Hyma Moorty and also thank her for inviting me. Yesterday was a real threat-in that she sent me. You lift the phone and I'm not calling you for this. So that's expected of Dr. Hyma. See, the association is so, our bond is so much that we can definitely command and demand, no doubt about it. But yes, as actually I'm from Gitanjali School, and we have worked together, and amazing teacher. As a teacher, she was really, and especially when she just come down from Dehradun. And it was, every child, I don't think there would be any child who has learnt under her has said that English is not good. The way she has created that, interest in every child is something which is wonderful. And yes, I have known Dr. Hyma Moorty for all the services that she's doing to her responsibility towards the society. It is absolutely commendable. Yes, and the organization with whom she works, the way she works towards it, as she owns it. And that is the bond that she has with every member of that organization. So yes, definitely, more than anything else, I think one has to think where the money is going to. And it is for a cause, and which directly, if you're not doing, indirectly, you must definitely, help out. And as she said, yes, this pandemic has, it should have been, actually, a pandemic should have been a positive move towards gaining a lot of things, knowledge, and that is what I think what she has done. And I was also not tech savvy, but yes, this was the time where the maximum learning happened. And definitely towards, I realized that that talent of having contents formed into videos was something that I was doing for my department, which I never expected that I would be able to do it. But yes, for all the members of my department, mathematics department, I used to, I mean, nobody can imagine videos made for students. I mean, they don't have to look at anything, whether it is, even the problem solving was put into the video. So that talent came only that, you know, we have to not take it as a pandemic which is disturbing, but we have to find opportunities in every problems that we face, is something that I think that's how we are all together as friends, because all of us have this thought. Kala is there, Prabha is there, all of us make use of our time positively in some way or the other. I think that is the best bond that we have, and wishing Dr. Hyma and wanting to read the book first and foremost. And I was just thinking I need to take for my both the children. I thought, yes, your book will be motivating for all, for my grandchildren, definitely. And hoping to see Hyma write more and more. And we have more of these. And a long association with Mr. Krishna. I think I haven't seen a publisher and a person as a human being who is a wonderful person. And yes, I too got an opportunity to write some things in my subject with, yes, and editing and things like that. But it was a wonderful association, confidence in our subject, you know, actually. That is the opportunity that Mr. Krishna had given. So thank you so much, Mr. Krishna, for inviting. Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So really, as ma'am said, I don't think anyone can ever forget what Hyma ma'am teaches. Like, we were the first batch when she came down from Dehradun. We were the first batch. She got so attached to all of us. I think everyone in our class are still in contact with her. We were batch 2009. It's 2022 now. So Hyma ma'am's sessions are very good. Anyone else would like to talk? Yeah.
Good evening, all of you. I'm grateful to Dr. Hyma for inviting me for this book release. I have known her in two ways. One is she's been the colleague of my wife, who just spoke now, Maya. Secondly, I do run a small setup where I counsel the students in colleges, in schools, etc. And in that activity which I undertook, I requested her to help me out to conduct the program, and we have visited a couple of schools. In one place, I distinctly remember, she was very helpful, and I really liked the brilliance which she showed and brought life to the activity which we undertook. So that is the second occasion when I associated with her. And as she said, I'll just briefly introduce myself. I am Colonel Sukumaran. I took voluntary retirement from the army some 2.5 decades ago, and then worked with ICFAI for almost a decade. I was the registrar of one of the associates of ICFAI. Then came out and launched my own small setup, which I talked about. Besides this, I've had the opportunity to undergo the pleasure or pain that she underwent in bringing out this book. I also authored a book of this kind, but I don't want to talk much about it. It is about lighter side of life in the army. And it was released by the CDS, the General Bipin Rawat, who passed away in the recent past. So I have had the opportunity to, and frankly, that is not because of the greatness of the book. It was basically because he and me were trained together in the Indian Military Academy, and that association, it carried on. And once a soldier, always a soldier. So that worked, and I just dropped a mail to him. My book is ready. I request you to just spend some time releasing it. It took 15 days. Both of us had gone and got it released in the month of March. So that is how the book writing experience I can understand. I can, what he went through. There is a pain involved, definitely, but the pleasure that comes later is inexplicable. You really find people writing back to you, sending you, very, very motivating kind of write-ups, even speaking to you, and, it motivates you. I have not gone through the book, and now, of course, we will have the opportunity to go through the book. Like my wife said, we will buy it for our grandchildren, definitely. And we would also recommend to many people, because I know her capability, having seen her, in action. So definitely it will be a gift to the people to whom I recommend to buy this book. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best for writing more books of this kind, and we will definitely try and see how this book can be given to other people, as also read all her articles. In fact, I came to know about her articles in Hans, and my wife told me there is some, there are articles coming, and I am very fond of reading. So I saw that which you referred as the gentleman from Hans. Yeah. So I read that article. It was in circulation in the social media, I believe. So I read that also. I was mighty impressed, and of course, not surprised, because I know her to that extent. I also know her husband, his background, and we've been interacting, not very frequently though. So once again, all the best to you, Dr. Hyma, and thank you so much for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anyone else would like to talk?
I request Babu Garu to say few words.
Good evening, everyone. Sir chepparu, he would do justice in English and Telugu. So nenu ekku Telugulo nenu maatladta na matrubhasha idi. Pardon me. Hyma Moorty garu cheppalante చాలా విశిష్టమైనటువంటి వ్యక్తి. ఆవిడ్ని కలవటం చాలా యాదృచ్ఛికంగా జరిగింది. ఆవిడ ఉండేటువంటి ఇంట్లోనే మా ఆడిటర్ కూడా ఉంటారు, అంటే దగ్గరలో, అదే అపార్ట్మెంట్లో ఉంటారు. సో ఆయన కలవడానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఒకరోజు లిఫ్ట్ ఆగిపోయింది. ఆ లిఫ్ట్ అంటే లిఫ్ట్ డోర్ ఆగిపోయి నేను బయటకు వచ్చాను. ఆవిడ ఇలా పీప్ చేసేసి, మీరు డోర్ అది సరిగా వేయలేదని చెప్పారు. ఏమంటే అంటే వెంటనే నేను బయటకు వచ్చి, ఏమండి నేను లిఫ్ట్ అది బాగానే క్లోజ్ చేశానండి, అది సరిగా పని చేయట్లేదు. మోర్ ఓవర్ ఐఎమ్ ఆల్సో టీచర్, ఐ రన్ అ స్కూల్ ఫర్ చిల్డ్రన్, ఐ రన్ సెవరల్ స్కూల్స్, ఐఎమ్ ఆల్సో డిసిప్లిన్ అంటూ అలా ఇంటరాక్షన్ అయింది ఆవిడకి నాకు. అలా అయితే మీరు ఏ స్కూల్ రన్ చేస్తారన్నారు. ఐ రన్ అన్ వాలంటీర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఫర్ చిల్డ్రన్ విత్ డిసబిలిటీస్ అని చెప్పాను. వెంటనే దెన్ ఐ వాంట్ టు వాలంటీర్ అన్నారు. సో ఈ ఏజ్లో అంత అంటే చిన్న ఏజ్ అన్నారు కదండి. సో ఇప్పట్లో ఈ ఇంజనీరింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ కానీ, లేకపోతే గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్ కానీ, పోస్ట్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్ కానీ, టైం ఉన్న వాళ్ళే వాలంటీర్ చేయలేని వాళ్ళు, ఆమె వచ్చి ఇన్వాల్వ్ కావటము, సచ్ ఎ ప్రొయాక్టివ్ నేచర్ ఉండటము, అండ్ దట్టు అప్పటి నుంచి ఆవిడ సీరియస్గా ఎంగేజ్ అయిపోయారు మా ఆర్గనైజేషన్లో. షీ కమ్స్ అండ్ టీచర్స్ ఇంగ్లీష్ టు అవర్ టీచర్స్. She helps with her content, and also she raises lots of resources, especially financial resources for organization from her friends, relatives. And especially, I would like to immensely thank her friend, Mrs. Kanyakumari and Dr. Ramana Rao Garu. So, I mean, not that because she's helping our organization Ashraya Kriti, but in general, she's connected to No Food Waste, she's connected to many other organizations. We did a lot of COVID relief work. We supported groceries to 25,000 people through our organization. So each kit containing 1,500 rupees worth groceries. Babu garu, మీ దగ్గర ఇవాళ 60 kits ఉన్నాయా? అక్కడ పంపించేద్దాం అంటారు. I found an organization where there are 60 people who are underprivileged women and children. Why don't you go give them? So she makes sure that they're being delivered, they're being handed over to the right people. She makes friends. చెప్పొచ్చు కదండి, వాళ్ళ వీధిలో ఉండేటువంటి వెజిటబుల్స్ అమ్మేవాళ్ళు, వాచ్మెన్స్. ఈ కాలంలో ఎవరికి టైం ఉందండి అంత? అంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరు వారి యొక్క స్టేటస్, హోదా అవే చాలా ముఖ్యం. ఆవిడ, బాబు గారు, ఐ ఫౌండ్ లేడీ, షీ రిక్వైర్ సమ్, నేను ప్రామిస్ చేశాను, ఐ విల్ హెల్ప్ యూ అని ఆవిడ మిస్సెస్ మాయా సుకుమార్ అని చెప్పారు కదా, షీ డిమాండ్స్ ఆల్సో. అంటే మా ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఆవిడతోటి ఈ ఆత్మీయ అనుబంధాన్ని మేము కొనసాగేలాగా ఐ మీన్ ఈ రిలేషన్షిప్ డెవలప్ అయినందుకు దేవుడిని నేను థ్యాంక్ చేస్తున్నాను. అండ్ స్పెషలీ మిస్టర్ కృష్ణమూర్తి గారు చాలా గొప్ప సహకారం అందించారు డాక్టర్ హైమా మూర్తి గారికి. బుక్ రాయటం అంటే చాలా కష్టమైనటువంటి పని. అందరం అనుకుంటాం కానీ అన్ని చేయలేము. ఇట్స్ వెరీ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ థింగ్. ఇట్స్ లైక్ పబ్లిక్ స్పీకింగ్ ఎంత కష్టమో అలా బుక్ రాయటము. అండ్ యూఆర్ మేకింగ్ ఎ పబ్లిక్ ప్లెడ్జ్ దట్ యువర్ ఐడియాస్, యువర్ థాట్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా డాక్టర్ హైమామూర్తి గారు చిన్నటువంటి విషయాలు, ఇంకో స్పీకర్ చెప్తున్నారు, మనము ఏదైతే అనుభవించున్నామో ఆల్ ఆఫ్ us must have seen those things, but penning it down and our memories ని మళ్ళీ మనం కూడా రీవిజిట్ చేయటము, అవి చాలా గొప్ప అనుభూతులు. ఆరో పబ్లికేషన్స్కి కృష్ణ గారికి హీ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో డోనర్ టు. సో ఆయనకి కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ మరొకసారి. డాక్టర్ హైమామూర్తి గారికి, తర్వాత మిస్టర్ కృష్ణమూర్తి గారికి దేవుడు చక్కటి ఆరోగ్యాన్ని, తర్వాత మరిన్ని బుక్స్ రాసేటువంటి శక్తిని, మమ్మల్ని అందరినీ మేల్కొల్పేటువంటి సందేశాలతో ముందుకు రావాలని నేను కోరుకుంటున్నాను. ధన్యవాదాలు.
Please come.
సభాయై నమః. గురవే సర్వలోకానాం భిషజే భవరోగిణాం నిధయే సర్వవిద్యానాం దక్షిణామూర్తయే నమః. నాకు హైమామూర్తి గారు, నేను ఆవిడ కలిసి గీతాంజలి స్కూల్లో పనిచేశాము. గీతాంజలి స్కూల్ ఫౌండేషన్ స్టోన్ వేశానండి నేను 37 సంవత్సరాల క్రితము. బేగంపేటలో 182 మంది పిల్లలు, 11 టీచర్స్ అండ్ 182 స్టూడెంట్స్ తోటి గీతాంజలి స్కూల్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ఇన్ 11 టీచర్స్ ఐఎమ్ ద వన్ ఆఫ్ ద పర్సన్. సో టుడే వీ హ్యావ్ 6 branches. I proudly say that I worked 37 years in that organization as a Telugu teacher. There I met her. She is my husband's elder sister. Yes. So whether I am afraid of anybody or not, but I am afraid of my sister-in-law. Anything, because the love and affection which she gives, anything she will do, immediately she will talk to me, whether 10 o'clock, Whether 11 o'clock, she has to talk to me, she has to share with me everything. All the incidents which are there in the book, she has shared with me. I'm really a fortunate person to hear all those things. And whenever she is feeling a little low, she wanted the blessings, immediately she will tell, I will go to her, and no, the blessings is not I am giving, it's the Guru will give the blessings. She had such faith in me. Whatever work she will tell me. And her brother, that is my husband, he will also, he won't afraid of anything. Whichever I tell, he never do anything. But the sister will tell, even the hands, paper, that's my husband, her brother has introduced this, and he has such respect towards her. So my relationship is going like this. Whether I don't know what talents I have, no, that's what Mrs. Sukumaran just now told. When I was in the school also, it's not that I know anything, I used to go, no. I just share with the children. Not that I know everything. Actually, my learning process still continue till my last breath. Because I don't know anything. There is so much to learn. So I'm learning. When I left the school, when I retired from the school, there are so many people are waiting outside. This is what I told my sister-in-law. She said, yes, there are so many are waiting. So you have to reach them. That is how she is to motivate me. So now I am doing so many things, teaching Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is something which people think it is a spiritual book. No, it is not. It is encyclopedia of life, is Bhagavad Gita. It is every human being has to learn. So this is, in these matters, she used to support me, and whatever she wants, she demand. That's what they told, no? Command and demand. But my brother, my elder brother, he's sitting there. I will tell you, he's so quietly smile. చిన్న చిరునవ్వు నవ్వుతారండి. నేను అక్కడ ఇంటికి వెళ్తే కూడా అమ్మ ఎలా ఉన్నావు, బాగున్నావా అంతే. ఆయన లోపలికి వెళ్ళాక షీ విల్ టాక్ టు మీ విత్ హర్ వాయిస్ లైక్ మీ. బట్ వెన్ అన్నయ్య వాజ్ సిట్టింగ్ దేర్, షీ సేస్, బట్ ఐ టెల్ యూ, that is how the support will be. Always behind the curtain, my brother will work. Otherwise, he won't be here. This I will tell you with so much of daringly I am telling you, she won't sit here if he won't work behind the curtain. He won't show anything. It's not only for her, anybody he wants to help, he will do behind the curtain. Even I will do things only behind the curtain only. I never come from front and do the things. So given me this opportunity, I am so proud that I am associated with my sister-in-law. God has given this sister-in-law and the brother to me. So I am very, very fortunate to be associated with her. Any small things she shared with me. She comes home, I will go to her. But that's what I'm telling you, I have to go to her house. You have to come. That's it. There is no choice for me. However hectic. Today, actually program also, my husband has so many important work also. But he said, no, my akka will shout, Namma akka champestada nannu. That is, it's not that fear or anything, the respect. I mean to say that. Then I said, no, we have to go. So that's how here. So congratulations, Talli. You have to do many more things like this. It's not Badnam, with so much of love. We are telling this. It's not Badnam. Everybody won't do that. The demand and command.
I must tell everybody I'm born on Leo's side.
Exactly. Exactly. But we always say, whatever, in the end, whatever she says, we have to say yes. That's it. We talk so many things, but in the end, we have to say yes to her. That will go on. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, one thing about Kala Bhaskar ma'am is, in our school, Gitanjali school, no one will write an exam without taking her blessings. No one will go to the exam hall without her blessings. I think it continued from till you were there in the school. That's nice. That's nice, ma'am. I request Mr. Krishnamurthy Garu to please say a few words. Please, sir.
మీరు మాట్లాడుకోండి 5 minutes. See, there's nothing I can add to whatever all the friends here who are assembled have said about Hyma, about her personality, about her passion for doing things, dedication, pushing things to the limit. I've been associated now, we are married for almost 48 years, 49 years. And every day she amazes me with new energy, new thoughts, new ideas. And after she retired from Gitanjali, she got associated with this Ashrayakriti. And I really don't know what she does there that makes people admire her. And my sister just told a lot of good things about me. I don't deserve all that. She is probably mistaken. I'm not. If you ask Hyma in private what such a bad fellow I am, she will tell you. So anyway, I have seen her struggling night on this one mobile. She was typing her articles, and I told her so many times, there's a computer, laptop lying. Why don't you use that? No, I don't want to use that. This, that. I'm comfortable using. I can do it in my time. I think I'm not dependent on anyone. So that sense of independence, she doesn't want to depend on me for anything. For helping her with that word processor, formatting, spell check, I will do everything myself. So she struggled almost single-handedly, and as she told herself, lot of parallel activities were going on, relief work, this work, lot of societal help. Some student has a problem, some doctor has a problem, somebody has some medical help, they want her to refer her to some doctors. She has made a network of doctors, hospitals, teachers, I don't know what all. Now Hans also is a new family she has adopted. So that capability, I don't think possible for many people to emulate. Anyway, I'm very happy for her that people are finding her work very useful to society and to generally things. But she gets very animated, all of you know that. Even when she listens to a TV discussion, she will be commenting equally about Arnab Goswami and what he is telling and why he is wrong and what he should be saying, what he should. So I have to listen to her or to listen to the TV, I don't know. So anyway, these are all snippets. I think most of you also must be facing in your lives in your own ways. But Kala Bhaskar Garu has given very positive report, which I don't deserve as far as I am concerned. And I think Colonel Saab also, Sukumaran has told. I am not such an active fellow because, it's not my fault really. I worked very hard during my service in DRDO, and very often we used to be in field areas, desert areas, forest areas, ships, all that. So the day I retired, she told me, you worked very hard, now you relax, you don't do anything. So I'm seriously following whatever she told me. So I sit and she just keeps on flitting, I'm going here, I'm going there, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then she will say, okay, I'm short by 25,000 rupees, I'm short by 17,000 rupees. Then, okay, kya karenge? It makes you happy, it's fine. So she's very happy when she goes out, I'm also very happy when she goes out. So that is how life goes on. So let's see how long we can carry on like this. Anyway, thanks to all her well-wishers, her friends, all the good people who have come here for encouraging her. And I also hope that she comes out with more articles, more creativity. She tried her hand at many arts, painting, then what else? Dancing, music, so a lot of things. But I think finally she has found her niche in this particular area. So I hope she continues. And maybe as Ramu Garu said, or Krishna Garu said about Telugu, I think she should write in Telugu also because she belongs to a very distinguished family. Chirak Moorty Garu. So I think she should keep up that tradition and try her hand at Telugu also, because as Ramu Garu said, we have forgotten Telugu. I myself have never studied Telugu because I was schooled in Dehradun. But for some curious reason, I don't know how. I know how to read, but I don't know how to write Telugu. So that is how things are. Anyway, once again, thanks to all of you for coming and gracing the occasion and encouraging Hyma, which will keep her very happy for many days. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please.
I would like to say a few words. In her speech, Maya Madam told about digitalization of the content. Here, before pandemic, Arrow publication doesn't have any idea about digital content. After going through passing through the pandemic period, our company has changed our way, and we have produced more than 1250 videos on different subjects, and with that, we are now catering to all the schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you all the dignitaries and all the audience for such kind words. We got to know a lot about Hyma ma'am today. So now let's move forward. It's time to felicitate our guests. I request the directors of Arrow Publications Private Limited to please come onto the stage and give our guests the mementos.
How about the sales? We don't need active. We want to buy the books.
Thank you, everyone. With this warm and affectionate felicitation, we will end our program with a vote of thanks. I request Mr. N. Ravindra to please give the vote of thanks.
Distinguished dignitaries, respected author, invitees, and friends, a very good evening to you all. On behalf of Arrow team, I express my sincere thanks to Sri M.V. Krishna Rao Garu for having presided over this event. And we thank him for such a beautiful review of Dr. Hyma Moorty's book. We feel privileged to have Sri V. Ramu Sarma Garu as a guest of honor. As you rightly said, that we have to revive the reading habit so as to bring change in the thinking process. We are delighted to have C.V. Subbarao Garu amongst us. We thank him for his continued guidance to Arrow family in all aspects. We also thank Mr. and Mrs. Sukumaran, Babu Garu, Sri sister's name? Kalavaskar ma'am, and Krishnamurthy sir for sharing their feelings and thoughts for Dr. Hyma Moorty. Most importantly, we thank Dr. Hyma Moorty, the author of the book, The Pandemic Panorama, for having given us the opportunity to publish this book. From what we understand from her address to us and those of the dignitaries, we have seen that how an attempt has been made to present the pandemic situation in our book in a way we all can relate to. We appreciate the admirable quality of hers to be able to pen her thoughts so engrossing manner. We are sure the book is going to make for an interesting reading. We thank all the guests and well-wishers who are present here today and have made this function a memorable one for us. We thank the organizers of Ravindra Bharathi for allocating this hall, and our special thanks to the print and electronic media for coming forward to cover this event. Last but not the least, I thank Ms. Amulya and all the members of the Arrow team who have played a key role in making this event a grand success. Once again, our hearty thanks to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So it was lovely to see all of you today. Thank you so much for supporting the event. The book is now available for sale and it costs only 150 rupees. So as our author already told us, all the proceeds will be going to Ashray Akriti. So this is an NGO which provides special education, health and vocational training to address the needs of people with disability. So as the book price is very nominal, I urge all of you to buy more than one book, gift it to your friends, family, and be part of the good cause. Thank you. So before we all disperse, please stand up for the National Anthem. Hamana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Uttara Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladi Taranga Tab Shubha Name Jage तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाए तब जय दाता जन गण मन अदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Stop this now. Arrow directors, Arrow team.
You all to wait so that the compere of the program is also honored. Just a minute, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you.